For problem number 1, we need to find the area of the parallelogram. An area, the formula for parallelogram is base times height. My base here is 9, and my height is 7. So 9 times 7 is 63. And since I multiplied, I have feet squared. I'm looking at perimeter here. Perimeter is adding all the outsides, so we have 9 and 9, 8 and 8. So I have 9 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8, which equals 18 plus 16. And so the perimeter is 34 feet. And when I add, I do not square my unit. So it's 34 feet. Number 2, we need to find the area of a trapezoid. And when we do that, we have base 1 plus base 2 times my height, all divided by 2. So my base 1, and those are the two sides that are parallel. So this is my base 1, so 17 plus 32, here's my base 2, times my height, which is 22, all divided by 2. And you can solve this a couple different ways. I like to reduce it so my numbers are smaller. 17 plus 32 is 49 times 11, which is 539 feet squared. And now to find the perimeter, I'm just going to add up all the sides. So I have 17 and 25 and 32 and 30. So I would say 17 plus 25 plus 30 plus 32 equals 104 feet. Again, I do not square it because I was adding. For area, I square it because I was multiplying. Whoops. Moving on to the next page. Number 3, we have a kite here. And I know the formula for a kite is diagonal 1, move that up there, diagonal 1 times diagonal 2, all divided by 2. So I need to find the diagonals. Well, my first diagonal is 10 here, right there. So I know that's 10 times, and it's divided by 2, so I'm missing my second diagonal. So I'm going to erase that there, and we're going to draw a line from there to there. So now I have to do some work, because I don't know the measurement. So I'm going to take this triangle right here. I'm going to redraw it. I know with the rhombus that's a right angle. If this whole measure is 10 from here to here, then this is 5 from here to here, because that diagonals bisect. I mean, they're not in the last chapter. So I'm going to put a 5 here. I'm going to put 13 here. And if I do Pythagorean theorem, I know that 5 squared plus this side, so I'm going to call it b squared, equals 13 squared. Okay, so I have 25 plus b squared equals 169. And then when I subtract 25 on both sides, I get b squared is equal to 144. Square root of b squared equals 12. So this side is 12. So I know that from here to here, that distance is 12. Now I have to find that top portion of my kite. And I know this again is 5 right here. This is 7, so I'm going to put a 7 there. And my right angle is right there. And I need to find this distance right here. So I'm going to say 5 squared plus b squared equals 7 squared. 25 plus b squared equals 49. And then when I subtract 25 from both sides, I get 24. And when I take the square root of 24, b equals 4.9. So this distance right here is 4.9. So now this whole diagonal, when I add these together, 4.9 plus 12 is 16.9. So 10 times 1, or 16.9 divided by 2 equals 84.5 inches squared. So that's the answer right there. Number 4. That is a rhombus because all four sides are congruent. So with a rhombus, it's the same thing as a kite. I have diagonal 1 times diagonal 2, all divided by 2 for my formula. So my diagonal 1, I'm not sure what it is, but I know that BA is 8. So if BA is 8, then the distance from A to, there's nothing there, so this distance is also 8. If this distance is 6, then this distance is also 6. So my diagonals are, one of them's 12 times the other diagonal, which is 8 plus 8 and 16, divided by 2. And when I multiply that, I get 96. So my answer is 96 feet squared. Move to number 5. Again, we have a trapezoid. So I'm going to say base 1 plus base 2 times my height divided by 2. That's my formula. Base 1, base 2. So 11 plus 19 times my height. Whoops, I don't know my height, but I know I have to divide by 2. So I have to find my height right here. I know if this is 52, then my height is my opposite side. So my O, opposite, because I have to use SOHCAHTOA to figure it out. And the other side that I know is my hypotenuse, which is right here. So I'm going to use SO to find that out, which is sine. So the sine of 52 equals opposite, I better put a opposite, over hypotenuse, which is 12. So to figure this one out, I like to cross multiply. So I'm going to take 12 times 52, or sine of 52 times 12 equals my opposite side. And I can replace this with a letter too, it might be easier. So if I put x there. So x equals sine of 52 times 12, which is 9.47, or 9 and 46 hundredths. So now that's my height, so I'm going to put 9 and 46 hundredths here. And when I add my 19, I have to do this first, 19 plus 11, take that number times 9 and 46 hundredths divided by 2, my answer is 141, 141 and 9/10 meters squared. Number 6. We have a parallelogram, so I'm going to do base times height divided by 2, but unfortunately I don't know my height, so I have to figure that out. So again, I know I'm looking for my height, so I'm going to put an H there. This is the angle measure, and my H is opposite. This is my opposite, and this is my hypotenuse. So I'm not going to use the side because that's the whole distance. So opposite hypotenuse. So again, I'm going to use sine. So the sine of 39 equals H over 8. And when I cross multiply, I take the sine of 39 equals times 8. So H equals 5.03. And when I fill in my formula, area of a parallelogram is base times height. My base is 15 times my height, which is 5.03. And when I multiply that out, I get 75 and 52 inches squared. Okay, number 7. If I want to find the area of a triangle, I'm going to take base times height divided by 2, or you can say half the base times the height. So my base is 22. My height is 14, and I divide that by 2. So just put in my calculator, and I get 154 yards squared. Okay, to find the area of the shaded region, I need to figure out the area of this parallelogram. So to find the area of the parallelogram, it's base times height. My base right here is 8, and my height is 5 plus 2, which is 7. So that equals 56. Now I'm going to go back, I'm going to erase this, and you can do it a couple different ways, but I like to find the area of each little triangle. So once I find the area of the triangle, I can subtract that out to get this, because 56 is the area of the whole thing. So to find the area of this triangle right here, which is the same thing as this, because if this is 4, then this is 4, and that's 4, and then this is 4. So the area of this would be 4 times 5 divided by 2, which is 10. So if that's 10, then this is 10. And to find the area of this little triangle, I take 4 times 2, which is 8, divided by 2, and that would be 4. So I'm going to subtract out all of those triangles. So I have 56 right here, the area of the whole thing, minus 20 plus 4 more is 28. So 56 minus 28 equals 28 centimeters squared.